And how much better can it get this week because they were able to pull off a win?
Again, those are some things we talked about. I think the kids were a little bit worn down, but I think everyone in college football at this point in the season is going to be a little bit tired. Those are things that you're going to have to fight through. A little bit nicked up going into the game, like anytime you play a team like Navy. I think those kids are a pretty physical unit, and a lot of things they do from a blocking standpoint is they're down on your knees and your ankles. I think anytime you're injured down below, it's probably going to slow you down a little bit. So I think some of that had to do with fatigue, a little bit nicked up just coming out of the stretch that we'd come out of. But again, that's this time of the year, you've got to be able to play through that, suck it up and go. So, and just, again, we didn't feel like the effort was to our standard where we feel like we need to be.
Are you seeing that in these first couple of workouts this week? That it's back up?
It was better yesterday and better today. So we made a pretty strong point there Monday morning. We went to the table with the kids that it was a great win and nothing to take away from the win. But I think we're capable of playing a lot better.
What you talk about, being nicked up. Kubler, Jakari, those guys, are they practicing?
Hoping to get them back, at least one of the two. It'd be nice to get both of them back. And I don't know if I'm able to comment on that or not, but I'd like to be able to get those guys back.
Just what are you seeing from Iowa? Basically, is it just what you would expect as base? And
probably one of the more physical offenses we're going to face this year. They're not overly fancy. They're going to line up and they're going to come downhill at you. Like Iowa's always been notoriously a great running football team. I think they're having some success this year. They're a little bit nicked up front, nicked up in the running back position, but it's Iowa, and I think they pride themselves on being a physical unit, to line up and run football effectively. And again, like you watch from last year, they had some success running the ball against us, but the thing that just killed us last year was the explosion plays. A lot of explosion plays literally came in the pass game, whether we just busted the coverage, beaten coverage, or they just out-executed us. We gave up way too many explosion plays last year.
You haven't had those the past couple of weeks. That same kind of
differences that, again, I think our safeties, any time, regardless of mistakes that are made up front, if your secondary can tackle, you can line up and play another play. You look at Ohio State, you're giving up a 60-yard run, you're giving up those explosion plays, and those just kill a defense. But if you can hold those to a 10, to a 12, to a 15-yard game, maybe a first down that you allow your defense to go out there and play another play. And again, that's the thing where we have been better the last 2 weeks is we haven't given up the explosion play. And again, that's something we've got to continue to build on, particularly going into this week.
Coach Harris,
nickel and dime, but just don't give up the big hitter.
Coach Harris said that Wiseman isn't going to play this week. Bullock got over 100 yards at Northwestern. Talk about him. What kind of back is he?
Well, again, he began the year as their starter. So, for what he's done in the past and what he did through 2 of the camp, for him to begin the year as a starter, says what he's capable of doing. But again, he's very quality, good back. He's maybe a little bit shiftier. And I don't know speed-wise, but he seems to be a pretty quality back. And the other kid, 45, was a big physical back. That was a little bit more of a downhill runner, wasn't a real cutback type runner. He was getting on the track and going and taking people with him. He's a good back.
Vandenberg's a guy, you talked about the explosion plays, and he's an experienced quarterback. They've struggled at times offensively this year, but he's hurt you in the past. What do you see from his play?
I think he's got an incredible arm. I think he can make every throw they ask him to make. And I think he's one of the better throwing quarterbacks in the league. It's like anyone, if you give him time back, I think he's got a chance to pick you apart. Or maybe they haven't had some of the success that thought was maybe just holding up with protection. Again, I know they're nicked up some on the front line. They've lost some pretty darn good players from a year ago off that offensive line. With some of the injuries they've had, times they're shuffling guys around playing a new position. But again, it's God was always going to play pretty darn good up front.
how are they different just without having a guy like McNutt? I mean, you mentioned the explosion plays mostly last year. That was just him.
Catch him. He's not back, but he's an awful good player. But the other receivers that got back this year are some of the same kids we played against a year ago. They're big and physical. They do a great job great job in the run game where their receivers will block and they will come down and they'll crack the safeties. They do a tremendous job forcing the corners to come up and tackle. Again, they're going to dig out their safeties. I don't care how tight you get the last scrimmage, those guys are going to come down there and dig them out. And again, they're similar to that standpoint to Navy, that they're going to line up and run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, and all of a sudden, if your vision's where it's not supposed to be, they're going to hit you out to the action fake. They're off the run. So it's, we've got to do a great job on the back end, making sure our eyes where they're supposed to be. You know, if you're involved in run support, you got to get down into support. If you're involved in coverage, you've got to play the responsibility first.
All right, thanks.
That's it. Okay, thanks, guys.
I'm happy Johnson Koulianos isn't back. That was a pain in the ass to type.
Yes, it was.
It seemed like he was there for 8 years.
He actually was. He was there for 8 years as Johnson. And he was
Was his sentence 8 years? What did he end up?
Oh, harsh.
hey, you weren't even there yesterday when I told